Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Elite Sports Debate podcast. How's it going, Ches?
Sensational. All
Superb.
good. All good. One downside. I love summer, but summer hates me. The listeners will be able to, and the viewers will be able to see, I am most certainly ginger-haired, and so therefore my skin doesn't like the sun. And hay fever is well and truly up my nostrils, so I am struggling
Yes,
big
annoying.
time.
I used to have, a few years back, I had hay fever really bad. And the last 2 or 3 years I've been really lucky, but I can feel it coming back now and it's so high at the moment. I just take this tablet and it's usually pretty good, but I had to go to the doctors about it. I remember going to the doctors about it a few years ago. I was like, look, I play golf. It's part of my job. What can I do? He's like, take these fexofenadine tablets or whatever. And they work pretty well.
Fexofenadine, 150 milligram, changed my life. But it lasts for about 10 hours. But if you're out and about longer, then it's just you're done.
I took it this morning before golf, and it was fine. So, little tip for you, listeners and viewers: if you've got hay fever, you're welcome.
Book in with your GP. I think you can actually get fexofenadine over the counter nowadays.
Okay,
you don't even
need. I used to be prescription. I remember it was prescription when I first got it, but I think you can. You're right. Right, let's go off that. But you're welcome. Not just a sports chat, much more than that. So good. Let's get stuck in, mate. Shall we? Let's get stuck in because there's a lot to talk about. When we first did our first episode, we were like, not much to talk about. Oh, let's do Premier League season review. All of a sudden, there's a lot to talk about. So we're going to start with golf. And the biggest golf news in 20 years? 25 years? Has it been bigger?
I mean, obviously, I like to talk about people making it, people achieving things. So Tiger Woods coming back, like that is that for me. That's bigger. But however, for the landscape,
Tiger Woods was amazing. But
of professional sport as a whole, the merger, they're claiming it's a merger, and really they've just bought it, Live. So for those people who don't know or haven't really, well, you must have been under a rock if you're into sport and you're listening to this podcast. But so Live Golf came around in 2021. Is that right?
Sounds about right. Yeah, kind of fully started then.
Yeah, 2021. So Live Golf is a Saudi-backed golf league, and they invested loads of money to create it and pop it up. Then they needed players to play on the tour, of which they needed to prize them away with massive signing-on bonuses, and then also massive bonuses for the actual winning of each event. The viewing figures were absolutely toilet for the event. They were giving away.
I went to the London event. It's free tickets, so I thought I might as well go along. See what it's like.
So they gave away free tickets to the events. The viewing figures were awful.
They were only streaming it on YouTube, weren't they? They didn't even have a channel. They were just streaming it on YouTube.
But we're on YouTube. So and by the way, if we have half the viewing figures of Live, then wow,
and half
wow, yeah. Put it this way: if Liv would have offered me the money, I would have been on my bike. So Johnson, I wouldn't have been.
Talk about that.
I would not have been staying faithful. So then kind of the news that kind of came around last week was that basically Jay Monahan, who is the PGA Tour commissioner, tosser. So he has been in secret meetings and they've managed to come to an agreement of which the Saudis buy a big chunk of the PGA Tour. That is, in a nutshell, what has happened. The backstory has been like a reality TV program. Got Live on one side, you've got PGA Tour on the other, you've got superstars like Rory going, latest interview saying, I still hate Live.
The Rory interview is fascinating.
Yeah. I
I want
mean,
to quickly talk a little bit about Rory, actually, because
yeah.
one, his interview was fascinating because he mentioned kind of the difference between PIF, the investment fund, whatever they call it, and the difference between that and Live. And it's like, look, trust me, guys, it's not Live, it's PIF. It's like,
No, if you pay,
that's a bit
if
smelly. Yeah,
Johnson, if you get your debit card out, you
yeah,
pay on your debit card. If you get your credit card out, yes, they're different banks, but where did it come out of?
yeah,
Where does that money come out of? It comes out
yeah,
of your pocket. So
yeah,
whatever name, whatever bank you're using, it's
yeah,
utter
yeah.
garbage.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Garbage.
And what's also interesting about Rory is, for those that don't know, he was kind of thrust into the limelight as 100%. You can't deny the poster boy for the PGA Tour. Came out in defence of it, for the good of the game, protecting the sport I love. You know, by all accounts, from what I understand, he's paid a lot of money by the PGA Tour to kind of be the poster boy, and he was the kind of how do I put it? He was the trying to play the moral high ground, if you like, because a lot of the discussion when Liv came along was about Saudi and how the human rights record isn't very good, etc., etc., etc. So he played the the really good character, the good cop, right? So it's just fascinating that they've turned him around and stabbed him in the back effectively. They said, "Thanks very much, Rory. You're our poster boy, by the way. Here's the dagger in the heart." In terms of, you know, there was a bitter war between the two. There was lawsuits. You could argue enemies, and the enemies have
Mm.
just gone. Reminds me of Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends?
like,
Literally,
it's,
literally.
but it's not. It's just like it's like, oh, okay, so you're putting in a lawsuit against us? Yeah. Well, we now own you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Money talks, baby. Money talks.
so
I always say it a lot. Everyone has a price, right?
yeah,
Right.
and
If you offered me a fiver to dive into a freezing lake, I probably wouldn't take it. If you offered me 500 million to do it, I'm probably going to do it, right? Everyone has a price.
yeah.
So, do you know what I mean?
Uh, so
And yet,
the
the thing is, what people don't understand is when you talked briefly about the money, Matsuyama, from what we understand, turned down $400 million. He turned that down, a
I
lump
heard,
sum,
I heard it was
to join Liv.
I heard it was 800 million.
Yeah, it could have been. We don't know, do we? We don't know. But it's hundreds of millions. We're not talking about 50K here. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, money that, you know, I've got a child of my own now, and I'll do anything for my family. Am I going to turn down that money? Of course I'm not. Of course I'm not. I can play less. I can look after my family for life. So,
Yeah.
of course, I don't blame these people for going. And the bottom line is, since this big announcement the other day, which was basically a statement, is obviously they're merging the golf. They think it's good for the game, blah, 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 blah. But what's happened is players that have turned down these big money offers have missed out because the players
Yeah.
that have accepted the offers, like your Mickelsons, your DJs, your Kepkas, that have taken huge lump sums, are now laughing because they've taken the money and they're allowed to come back. It's
So they're
fantastic.
saying they're going to have to come back, and there's going to be ramifications for them coming back.
Yeah, they're going to
But
say that,
like,
man. What do you
yeah,
do?
no. So bear with me with this one, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So you're Phil Mickelson. You're 50. What is he? 55?
Yeah, he got paid
Yeah,
chunks as well, 100 million or
yeah.
150 million.
200 million. Yeah, 200
Yeah,
million. He's 55 years of age. If they say to him, in order to get back in to the PGA Tour, you've got to pay us 50 million quid. Yeah. And what do you get for that? Oh, you then can play the Charles Schwab, right?
he's going to say, no, I'm fine,
No
thanks.
deal.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
he can play the Masters for the rest of his life.
yeah,
He can play the US, because he's won the US PGA, he can play in the
yeah,
US PGA for the rest of his life.
yeah.
He's
What's the deal with the
also
Open?
exempt for 5 years for all the majors because he won a major.
Yeah,
So therefore, until he's 60, he can play in all the majors. So
yeah,
therefore, that's 4 times a year. He can join. Do you know what's the crazy thing as well? He can join the seniors tour. So
yeah.
therefore, do you think Phil Mickelson is going to be asked?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So the top end of it as well is that Liv will after this year be gone. So Liv will be gone. So
the interesting to see if this will be a new name, if you like, the World Golf Tour or whatever.
No, from what a couple of outlets that I saw, they were basically just going to be bringing in the events, like the team events, towards more the PGA Tour stuff,
okay.
And
right.
you know, so and maybe shortened events during kind of. So basically, you'll have your kind of like tiers. So what I mean by that is you'll have your top, your majors that stay untouched, then your top kind of events. So your Bay Hills and the players and stuff that stay as what they are, and then the ones underneath. So like your Charles Schwab, well, they could be gone. They could be gone, and they're going to be replaced with different formats, whether it's team or whether it's shortened formats.
Shotgun start, 54 holes. They're going to bring a bit of that in.
Yeah. So, but basically, your tier A and your majors are guaranteed to have the best players in the world playing, and that is 15 weeks of the year. Now, I'd be very surprised if people like John Rahm, Rory, or anyone is going to play in any of the other events, because they're just going to play in those top 15 events, and they're going to be happy enough with that. That's how I think it's gonna. I think that's how it will go. I feel really sorry for people like Europro. Okay, you used to play on the Europro tour.
Yeah.
The Europro tour went because of Liv. Okay, because Liv came in, which replaced. I mean, the other place that is absolutely buzzing with this is the European Tour. They've got a massive chunk of money off the Saudis because they were struggling. Like, all of their players basically went to Live. Like,
the quality of the quality of the DP World Tour is just so nowhere near what it used to be. Like,
nowhere
near.
And
it's good in terms of when you've got your fringe players that are getting more opportunities now on the European Tour than they didn't before, but it's nowhere near as. You used to have European Tour events that had, Mackerel and Dubai Desert Classic was huge. It had all the big names, and now it's like.
That'll just be part of the PGA Tour now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, I almost feel that it might even be rebranded as the World Tour or something. Golf World Tour, and they'll just take it wherever. So, I don't know. I actually feel quite stupid that we didn't see this coming.
By the way, it was a huge shock. You can't say it wasn't, because everyone got used to it. It's like, wow.
Yeah. But
it was a huge shock. And you're right. Well, Donald Trump saw it coming. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was so funny. He literally nailed it. It was like, take the money while you can, because it's going to be emerged. It's like, wow. And he said that, a year ago? So, But he's just a smart businessman. Well, you love him or hate him, he's a smart businessman. So, it's fascinating to see. I think for a golf fan like myself, like, what I'm saying is, it's not terrible. It's not bad news, really. I don't think. If anything, it's good news.
For a fan, it's brilliant.
For a fan, it's good news. Good. We're going to have all the good best players playing against each other. We're going to have big events. The Saudi are putting their money into good stuff now. What I would say is, Eddie Hearn made a good point. We spoke about this during the week. Saudis are pretty much taking over golf. They more than have enough power and money to do that. They also have enough power and money to take over sport.
They've done it. Football, Newcastle. There's just been a Middle East. They've just had a World Cup. So,
boxing, it's huge money.
Boxing. So
he made a good point. He said the Fury Joshua is 80 million in Saudi, it's 20 million at Wembley. All the fans want it at Wembley. That's great. Me and you have a fight, Chaz, and we get offered 80 million or 20 million. I don't care where we're fighting. I'm taking 80. I've got family.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you have to wait,
do you want 40 million each, or do you want 10 million each? Yeah, but it's Wembley. Or do you want the 30 million extra? Let me think. So, just keep an eye on it, because what I'm saying is the Saudis have that much money that, as we mentioned earlier, money talks, that they are starting to make waves, but they could take over sport, e.g. the Super League we all think is going to come back at some point. It won't go away, that. It won't go away.
No.
So,
no.
Yeah.
So, I'm Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, as a fan, it's really good. It's good news. It
Yeah,
unites stuff, but like ultimately, Saudi Arabia and the Middle East is, yeah, completely
yeah.
consuming stuff.
Good. We're still on golf, but we'll move away from that. I mean, we can talk about it all day. It's such big news. But the thing is, as well, just really quickly, lastly on that, is we don't know the full details yet. The news broke just under a week ago. All it was a statement. So we're starting to hear stuff, but a lot of it's rumours. It's a wait and see. We have an opinion based on a statement at the moment, so a lot of it is a bit pie in the sky. So, but again, something to keep an eye on because it's massive news and it will grow and it will get bigger and there'll be lawsuits and could be loss of earnings cases and all kinds of stuff. The US Open's next week, major. Um, did you see what I said to you earlier? The two par threes.
Yeah, yeah.
There's two par threes. One is 290 yards and one is 284 yards. Right. To put that into perspective, everyone. I'm a professional golfer. I'm nowhere near good enough to just for the people that don't, the people that know this already. But
Okay,
I'm
so
nowhere near good enough.
if you're not good enough, I'll take it now. Okay,
Yeah.
so 290 is it's a 3 wood for me. 3 wood.
Oh, give me a break. Have you heard this, kid? Have you heard this? It's a 3-wood. The problem is, Jez, it's in the wrong direction, mate. That's what you got to worry about. I'm hitting driver and I'm hitting it at the green, but it ain't reaching. It ain't reaching. Unless this thing is downwind and downhill, I ain't getting there. So, I mean, that's for me I'm not a very big hitter, but that's for me as a pro golfer. I can't reach par threes. A lot of people don't understand that this kind of fringe golf watchers how hard that is, right? I would say typically around Cottesmore, my home club, I'm shooting on average, playing tough at the moment, 3-4 over par. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's better, right? Maybe a bit less. There's a bit of injustice, maybe 2 over.
Yeah,
But
I think two over, two over,
at the
two
moment, it's
over.
tough. It's fiery. It's tricky. So yeah, on average 2 over. My best is there is 5 under. My worst is 10 over. Whatever. The point is, that's a short course. Our longest par three is 180, 190. What I'm saying is, these yardages of these courses now is insane.
Yeah,
There's
I
560 yard par fours. For
I
me, I can't
absolutely.
reach that anywhere near into.
So right, let's can we really nail down? Now, obviously, we're going to be biased to this country, but so they've just made a new par three at Royal Liverpool, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's 120 yards. Okay, so if golf needed to be long, they've just made a new one and they've made it really short.
Yeah, I
Okay,
quite like the short ones as well,
but it's
though.
great. It's
Yeah,
great. It's
yeah.
great.
But they
What they've
need
done
to
is they,
have a certain length of course because they need to protect. They don't want the Open being won by 30 under, do they? It's the RNA, the tradition.
no, no,
The
no, no,
US
no,
Open's
no.
always tried to be tough. People don't want to see 12, 15, 20 unders. I don't politically agree with it, but that's
Oh,
why they
no.
do it.
No. Like, look, if a US Open is won 9 under par, the player has either something's gone wrong because they want a 2 under to win it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
like you don't need to make a par three 290 to make it
yeah.
hard.
I understand that.
190 yard par three could be
Yeah,
really tough if you
I
took the
understand.
pins, if you put them on the top of slopes,
Yeah,
if you know, and then also if it's flat as a fluke, then
yeah,
the ground you're working on is terrible for starters.
yeah.
So
I agree. I
I'm
think they've probably. I
I'm
agree with you in that. I think they've probably gone a bit too far in terms of the length of the distance. It's crazy. Length of the courses. They've talked about this golf ball rollback, haven't they? Which I don't particularly like.
bollocks,
I know
bollocks,
it's the same for everyone,
hate it,
right? It's an equal
hate
playing
it.
field. If Bryson wants
Imagine
to work hard and hit the ball 350 yards through the air, then it's the same opportunity for everyone else. He's not cheating. So it's still the same playing field.
Imagine if you worked your absolute nuts off all of your life to get to a stage where you go on tour and then they tell you, yeah, do you know that ball that you've been using? Yeah, it's different now.
You
It's
can't use that
different.
anymore.
Yeah,
It's just fun.
you can't use that. And
But
then basically there's certain people who would continue to gain an advantage or lose an advantage. It's
yeah,
bollocks,
yeah.
bollocks, bollocks.
I agree. But it's interesting to keep an eye on because the US Open technically is the one that they try and make tough. They made the PGA tough as shit. really tough.
Yeah,
So,
really tough. Really tough.
Although Brooks was brilliant, sorry. But even so, it was tough. The US Open was brutal, but it's going to be great fun. It's going to be a proper test of golf. Yeah, really quickly, the point I was going to make is a couple over on average on my home club, which is great, which is fine. I would have to play well to break 90, in my opinion, and I'm a pro golfer. So you take that to a 10 handicapper, they don't break 100. No.
I think is Block playing in this US Open? Did he get in?
I don't think he qualified. I think he played the qualifier and didn't qualify, and he hasn't had an invite. I don't think, but I need to check it. He played this week.
That's a really good. That's a really good. That's a really good. Like, by the way, Block. If you don't know, he played in the US PGA. Had the 4 days of his life, and he said that finished top 12,
highest finish from a PGA pro in 100 years or something.
Yeah, something ridiculous. Like, and so he's
like a club pro, like myself, basically, who thinks they're finishing 90
not,
and then
I mean,
he's
not
a very, very good player.
He's a very, 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 very good club pro player. But I suspect if he plays in the US Open, he will be shooting mid-80s for 4 days.
I agree.
And for 2, because he's going to miss.
And then I think we'll look back and we'll realise how special that PGA was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's just missed cuts. He's missed cuts the last 2 events. But everyone was thinking, oh, he's just an outstanding player. He's a very good player. But what he did that week was phenomenal. And I think people will only realise when they look back and go, wow, look at this, how overachieving this guy was that week.
And that just shows how good people like, I know you're going to mention him, Scotty Scheffler. Scheffler. That's your man for the week. Like, and well done, because I think that he's got a great, great, great chance.
Yeah. As I mentioned to you earlier, it was just on the Good podcast. They just mentioned that if Scotty had putted like Denny McCarthy at the Memorial, he would have won by 10. So what that basically says is he's playing really well. He's just not putting well. He's not a bad putter. If he can, they all work so hard, these boys. If he can just find something and hold a few more putts, then he should be bang there. I would say he's all... It's so difficult to say because obviously, is he number 1 in the world or he's number 2 or whatever? Maybe it's wrong. But I would still say he's underrated, Scheffler, even now. Because of his footwork, yeah. In terms of his results, you can't really argue with it. But I just can't see how he's not bang there. Did you see the stat about he's had top 20 finish in his last 20 events or something mad like that? He hasn't finished outside the top 20 in his last 15, 20 events. So, I mean, even look, top 10 finish, Scotty Scheffler this week. Great bet. Don't encourage gambling, but I'm just throwing that out there. So that's that. Canadian Open, just really quickly, is on at the moment. Rory's won it the last 2 years. He was tied for the lead going into tonight, and he's 2 over for the day. So to those that know golf, that's not a huge surprise. Rory's a great golfer, but he doesn't get over the line as much as he should. He's always in contention. He's not a great finisher. There's people say he's a bit of a bottle job. It's a bit harsh, but
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Mild shock.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Happened loads. Happened Memorial. Happened this week. Happened the week before. So it's happened a lot. It happened in the Masters. So it's happening a lot, and
the Open last
something
year.
he needs to address because he's so good. It's not a question of talent. He's so good. It's just struggling to get over the line. So he's out of contention now, sadly, but it's getting tight at the top. There's about 6 holes to play. Hatton's in the clubhouse at 16. Nick Taylor's 16 under through 14. Hatton's 8 under today, by the way. He's in the clubhouse. Aaron Rye's there at 15. Fleetwood's there at 15, 1 back. And you've got Eric Cole and Mark Hubbard. So it's a tight finish. I might clock the last couple of holes we finish. But
by the way, definitely want to mention this. Last thing about golf before we move on, because I'm bored. I think that the next thing, the team events are going to be manufacturers. So you're going to play for Team Titleist. You're going to play for Team TaylorMade, and then there's going to be transfers, and there's going to be big moves, and there's going to be. Honestly, that's the future. If I could put a bet on that happening. Yeah. That's what I think is going to happen, and I think I've said it for a number of years actually. But because then it's like the F1. It's like so you have like a 5 on your roster, and I don't think
it's an interesting thought. It's an interesting thought.
Because
and then the team
is,
with more money might poach a young up-and-coming player, like a Tom Kim. Team TaylorMade might go, "Oh, we'll buy Tom Kim because he's got potential. He's young."
Yeah.
You know, so no, interesting idea. Very interesting idea.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Football.
Oh, thank God for that. Actually, a decent sport.
Oh,
so,
stop it. Mate, you went to uni
no,
to study golf and you're slagging golf off.
did
It's
I?
insane.
Oh,
Did you or not?
no, fake
No.
news. Fake news. Right, no,
News of
no,
a
it,
fact.
yeah, right. So, the next football, wow, what a sport. We all love it. 2 European finals since we've been around. Well, there's actually been 3, but we're only going to talk about 2. Well, mate, we could touch on Roma. I watched the Roma
I
and,
didn't watch it actually, but I heard about it.
did you not? Yeah. I mean, so many yellow
It
cards.
was more
Wow.
dominated by the yellow cards and the referee.
Wow.
Mourinho waiting for him in the car park. I've always said this, right, really quickly. I don't mind the referee giving a load of yellow cards. And the reason why is because the referee's in charge. And how are you going to stop players from being idiots without booking them? If someone keeps calling me a C word or keeps swearing at me, I'm going to book you. And then the
Yeah.
referee gets labelled as he's given too many yellow cards. That's what they're for. If you're diving and you're simulating and you're in my face, I'm going to book you.
I
I
think
don't
it
understand the
was,
stigma of he booked
yeah.
12 players, he lost control. Bullshit. He's trying to gain control by booking players. You lose control
Yeah.
by not booking anyone. You
Yeah.
can't just have a
Yeah.
free-for-all, can you?
No, I think it was the loss of control was actually the way that those players went out to play that game. That game was out there to be like it was anti-football.
Yeah.
So we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Mourinho is like,
in general, I don't like seeing the referees getting hammered by managers personally.
No,
They're doing their
no,
best. They've got the tools. They make mistakes. Whatever.
yeah. Then we're going to talk about West Ham first, okay? And I think we previously done a pod where we rated each of these teams and what their season was, and I think we said that we'd give West Ham an A plus if they win this game. I want to give them an A plus. I think
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah,
I think them. I think them. The fans. I think.
Yeah. It was brilliant.
You know,
They swamped Prague, didn't they? They only had 6,000 in the stadium, and there was 50,000 in Prague apparently. And
by the way,
yeah,
like, you know, pick a better venue to have from like wow.
Yeah, my stag do was in Prague, and it was good place to go. Good place to go for a piss up.
So like, but anyway, they I thought they made a really good of account of themselves, and they're a massive club. They are a massive club, West Ham. They've got really good following, and the club did great things. The one thing that I didn't like was just Declan Rice. Just let it happen. Enjoy the moment.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because what was so interesting is Declan Rice. I think he does. I love the club. I get that, but him coming out saying, "Yeah, I love the club. I've got 2 years left," and he's kind of giving West Ham fans hope. Oh, I've just won a trophy. Oh, I love West Ham. Oh, I've got 2 years left. And then the next day, David Sullivan's on Talk Sport saying Declan's definitely going. We've told him he can go. He wants to move. Like it just looks stupid. It looks bad for him.
Yeah.
It looks bad for him. He clearly wants to move. Everything I've seen demonstrate he wants to move. Nothing bigger than last year he turned down 200 grand a week new contract.
Yeah.
If that's not I want the move.
8-year contract, 200 grand a week.
8-year contract, 200 grand a week. Turn it down. If that's not I want to leave, then I don't know what is. And I get he wants to leave. That's fine. I get it. He's a good player. He can play in any of the top 4 sides.
You just say all you have to say to that question. That answer is, I've just won a European trophy.
Yeah,
I'll address that. Leave me alone. Let's talk about the match that's just happened.
Yeah.
Not about my future.
Gundogan dealt with it fine. We all know he's probably going to go, but he dealt with it better. Put in a good shift, lifted the trophy. Doesn't say anything about it. I'm enjoying this moment. I agree with you. It's a bit slightly silly for him to say what he said.
Like, and gold as well. What are you playing at, mate? What are you playing at? I think if anything, you've just lowered his price because you've just said that he's got to leave because you've signed it up. Well, now Arsenal.
We've told him he can leave. We've agreed that he can leave.
So Arsenal are now sat there going, whereas Daniel Levy would have said, yeah, he can leave, even if you pay 100 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So,
whereas now they know that he said that they're definitely going to let him go. So teams might go, "Oh, I'll lower my bid slightly." So.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
We had a
and
bit
then
of a
Man City.
unsavoury incident, didn't we? With the stuff getting thrown on and it hit the player, but I don't really want to say too much about that. It's one idiot in the crowd. You get an idiot everywhere you go. So I don't think a fan base should be dictated by one idiot. So.
No.
You know, if you have a great fan base and one idiot gets drunk and on drugs or whatever and decides to run onto the pitch and punch someone, that doesn't mean that if a Brighton fan does it, it doesn't mean I'm a bad Brighton fan because I'm associated with the club. Do you know what I mean? So there's always one idiot in a pack of 5,000 no matter what you do. So it's a bit of a shame to watch, but I'm not going to slate West Ham for it. It's just one idiot. So. But fair play to them. I'm buzzing for them. If I was a West Ham fan, I'd be absolutely over the moon.
Yeah.
They've qualified automatically with the Europa League. They've won a trophy. Quickly, we had the question during the week about the who's had the better season, West Ham or Arsenal, and it stirred up a lot of interest. And it stirred up a lot of interest because a lot of Arsenal fans going, hang on a minute.
For me personally, it's West Ham, because if you would have said at the start of the season what odds are Arsenal to finish second in the league, then they would have been, say, 25-1.
Yeah.
What odds?
If that.
What if
you know? Less,
probably a bit less.
It was 18, a great season.
18.
Yeah.
Whereas, what odds were West Ham to win the, European Conference League? Probably with 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
There was some massive teams, and some massive teams come down from the Europa League to it. So it's like...
Yeah, would you rather have a trophy in Europa League and that feels like overachieving, or would you rather have Champions League football and no trophy? It's close.
Yeah.
It's close. I'd probably agree with you. I'd slightly favour West Ham. I just didn't like Arsenal fans going, "What a stupid question." It's not a stupid question.
No,
whether you're in a title race or not is irrelevant. You came second. I'm not saying that's a bad season. We talked about it before. You'd have taken second at the start of the season for certain, but it doesn't matter. You're in a title race.
What Arsenal have got to do is what Liverpool did 6 years ago, where they built on that and went again. Pardon me. Where they built on that and moved forward with it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what they've got to do. If literally this is a flash in the pan and Arsenal do nothing with it, and this is the best that they've got, well, they're screwed. So
yeah, I agree. I think they will build though. I think the gap's still obviously big to manage, but I think they'll add. By the looks of it, they're going to get Declan Rice. You know, they're going to. The thing is, let's say they get Rice and Caicedo. Okay, let's just say that. You then look at that team and you go, that's a good team. That's a good team. Maybe let's say a right back as well. I don't know who off the top of my head. Let's just say a world-class right back. You've got a very good goalkeeper. You've got world-class right back. You've got Gabriel and Saliba. You've got Zinchenko that's very good and is a leader. You've got Rice and Caicedo in the middle. You've got Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka, Jesus. That's a good side. That's a very good side. It's not a side that's necessarily as good as City. That's the top four outfit for me.
Yeah.
So, do I think they can go and push on and win the league? No. But do I think they can solidify a top four finish next year? Definitely. Definitely think they can.
Yeah, definitely.
So, good. Well played, West Ham.
Definitely. Well played, West Ham. Next is the treble winners.
Yeah.
The treble winners. So, I'm a Liverpool fan. Obviously, I work for Man United. So which is weird, obviously. So they, weird. So I know how Man United feel about that treble win, and it is very sacred to them. They talk about, oh, we won the treble from the Cliff, and like the Cliff is a very sacred training ground and stuff. Like I am, I think I said this to you earlier on. Like I think what Man United did, the way that they won the treble, kind of is a little bit different to the way that City have won it. Obviously, they had a lot of homegrown players. They beat some really, really, really good teams in the run up. I know Man City did, but
I know what you mean. I think the final was, let's be honest, was a bit of a drab affair as well. First 65 minutes, I was bored off my nut, to be honest. I'd never switch off at the Champions League final, but it was a very drab affair. It was a bit of a chess match, wasn't it? It was I thought Milan did well. They did really well. I think they got their tactics spot on.
But
they stifled Man City.
Did they ever look like, apart from the big chance,
Yeah.
did they ever look like scoring?
No, but if Lukaku scores a header that he scored 9 times out of 10, then it goes to extra time. What happens in extra time? City under pressure, they were leading, now they're not. Or we lost the final the other year. You just don't know. Goes to penalties, it's a coin flip. So it's so easy in hindsight. City were the better team, I'm not saying they weren't. And
they've learned how to win ugly. Which is scary. Which is now really scary. Really scary.
You don't even have to play well to win, yeah. But it annoyed me slightly, just really quickly, on the Henderson save, because everyone's like, we'll see that save for years to come. He's headed it as shin bone.
So, do you remember Shevchenko last minute, Dudek?
Yeah.
Okay. Thoughts
similar?
On that?
It's hit him.
So, do you think it was Shevchenko miss, or do you think it was a Dudek save?
Definitely a Shevchenko miss. Dudek hasn't moved. He's looked around and gone, what happened? Where's the ball? Hasn't he? Watch it again. It's hit him. It's gone over the bar, and he's gone, what just happened? And the same with Ederson, with a world-class save. That is an absolute howler of a miss.
I agree that, I think, was it Diaz who then headed it wide? That was more impressive.
The header was
more
impressive. Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah, that was
come
more
out quick. He could so easily pen that into his net. It's a howler of a miss, mate. You watch it again, he's got half the goal.
Yeah.
It's a bad miss. The bar one was a bit unlucky.
He looked.
As well.
I said this to you as well.
He was poor.
Lukaku looked heavy.
He looked
really
poor,
heavy.
He was
really
poor.
heavy.
Hence why he didn't start. He was poor, and that's an interesting one this summer. Will Chelsea keep faith in him? Does Poch like him? Poch likes him as a player. He speaks to Todd and he goes, I like Lukaku, then they'll probably keep him. But if he doesn't, he may. They're not going to get
mega money from that display, though, are they?
No. Is there a player there?
Oh, there's a player there. There is a great player there. But what is his level?
Was there a great player there, or is there a great player there?
Tell me when he last shone for a full season.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There was a good player there, but is there now? I don't know. He didn't do much when he was at Chelsea. He's done all right for Inter Milan, but you're going to get goals in Serie A. There's a lot of dead wood there. I don't know. I think he's a bit of a flat track bully, and I can't see him getting this big move. And if he goes back to Chelsea, is he going to bang next year? I don't think so.
Yes, yeah.
I think he'll just be stale like he was the last time he was there.
He just needs, like, you look at someone like Haaland. He is 6'4". Like, he's shredded. He's absolutely shredded. Like, I, from working in football, know when a player just looks too heavy. Like, and he looks
he's a lump,
chunky. He looks really chunky.
Yeah.
So
he's not as much of a threat as he used to be.
No.
But yeah, good. I think that's about it. Well played, City. They deserved it. But like I say, it was a tactical affair. It wasn't amazing to watch. It was all right in the end because Inter Milan had their couple of chances. But yeah, very tactical affair. I thought Inter Milan did okay, to be honest.
Be interesting to see how many people are out for the parade in Manchester. So that's tomorrow night. Like, obviously the weather will be really good. Like, I obviously Liverpool have come back from Champions League successes, Premier League. Like, we didn't get to celebrate the Premier League, but we did, like, that Champions League win. Those streets were, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Have City got the fan base?
And if it's not that busy, it'll be all over social media. Be like, look, they're only too deep. Because I saw
they're not going to be too deep. They're not going to be too deep.
No, I know.
Because they're going to pick certain places where they go. So there's, I
actually feel a bit sorry for Man City proper fans that were like main road season ticket holders, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they're just surrounded by plastic. Surrounded.
Yeah.
And I hope we don't go that way a little bit, but yeah, I don't think we'll achieve enough to go that way too much. But
no, I don't think you will. I don't think you will.
But It'll be very interesting to see. Even on social media, did you see in their fan park in Istanbul? There was barely anyone there. Your fan park was mad. It was mad.
No comment. For me, Man City, Tramp who won the lottery.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, but it could have happened to any club, couldn't it? It could have happened to Sunderland.
They were looking at Everton.
Yeah, of course.
Those owners were looking at Everton, and the only reason why they bought City was because of the stadium.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a ready-made stadium.
And one on Pep as well. We got mentioned him. Fair play to him.
Oh,
done it again.
I mentioned GOAT to you. I am, and this is GOAT across all sports. For me personally, Fergie is still next level, mainly because obviously the stuff he did at Man United. You forget what he did at Aberdeen. It's a joke what he did at Aberdeen. So, but yeah, I think Pep's clocked the game. Yeah. I would be worried if I was Man City. Does he move on?
I was thinking that when I heard his interview, I was like, he's reached the top of Mount Everest now, hasn't he? Really, he's won the treble. The
only thing next is to do it for a national team, but he doesn't see himself as Spanish. He sees himself as Catalonian. So therefore,
I think if Spain rang him up tomorrow and said, "We want you," I think I don't know based on anything. I think he'd go.
I don't think he'd do it. He doesn't see himself as Spanish. He sees himself as Catalonian.
Because there has been links there before.
The national team of Catalonia is Barcelona.
Yeah, interesting. But is there the hunger now to carry on at Man City when you've done it?
No.
They've done it. They've won the treble. They've done it all.
It's clocked the game. It's clocked the game.
So switch off and choose a new game. Exactly. So it's interesting to see. But it wouldn't. Some people I think would be like jaws to the floor if he left. I wouldn't be. Jaws to the floor. Not at all. No, not at all. And he deserves the choice, really, doesn't he?
Then that's why I feel that if Liverpool were to win another trophy, whether it be of significance, as in the Premier League or the Champions League, I think Klopp would go.
Klopp might go. That's me. Yeah.
No, I don't think he might go. I think he would go. And the difference between Klopp is Germany ring up, he's going.
Yeah, agree. Yeah. Good. Okay, any more football?
Do you know where he might go? Do you know where Pep might go?
Yes.
England.
I'd love it, but I can't see it. Would he go back to Barcelona?
Xavi's doing well.
Yeah, maybe. But it's worth keeping an eye on. If we are having this podcast, and I hope we will in 3 years' time, I don't think Pep will be at Man City in 3 years' time.
Next year is his final year, guaranteed.
Yeah, can't see it. Be interesting to see. If it does happen, obviously he would take the job. Any more football? There's one I want to briefly touch on the football without getting too carried away. Sorry, obviously it's going to be a little bit Brighton based. I nearly cried this afternoon.
Why?
I've been banging on about Donkey for England for years. For years. My fantasy football team name has been something Donkey for England for the past 4 years. He's worked his nuts off to get an England call-up. It's his first England call-up for 5 years. Thoroughly deserved. Anyone that knows football that's not a Brighton fan knows that his call-up was thoroughly deserved, and he's had to withdraw due to injury. I'm gutted when I saw it.
Mings in now.
Heartbreaking.
So right.
I just hope that it's not the end. I just hope Southgate goes, look, I gave him a chance. He got injured. I owe him a chance. Do you know what I mean?
So these, you're going to see a lot of these injuries, by the way. Injuries.
Yeah, they said he missed the last couple of games of the season with a nagging injury that apparently he played through for most of the season.
By the way, do you know every single one of them Man City players are going to be injured?
Yeah. Hung over. Yeah, Jack Grealish is going to have a 4-week injury,
Yeah.
4-week fucking bender.
Are you interested in these national games now?
Oh, no, not at all. No. Do you know what? Honestly, me being me, as biased as I am, I love Lewis Dunk. I would have watched it to watch Lewis Dunk. So I probably, if he was to start, he maybe not. That's the only reason I would have watched it. So if he's not in the squad, I probably won't watch it. And that's not me throwing a tantrum. I just would have watched it, and my biggest thing would have been to see how he got on, because I've been such a Lewis Dunk for England hype train for so many years. Now, I'm not interested.
No.
Not interested.
No.
That's all I wanted to mention. Yeah, I won't bang on about Brian, obviously. Any other football?
The transfer window is open, but I've got zero interest in Tielemans.
I think the official opening is the 15th or 16th. It's not officially open for business yet, although teams are still doing deals. But it's official open. I think I saw is the 16th. So there's a few deals that are kind of pre-agreed that will all go through straight away. The McAllister one, obviously, but we kind of touched upon that. Wednesday, June the 14th, it opens. So it opens officially on Wednesday. So, and then fixtures get released on Thursday. So yeah, not loads going on. Tons of rumours. Madison rumours. Obviously, Tielemans went for free. I think it's good on a free. You don't particularly like him. The Mount thing's gone a bit quiet. So I don't know what's holding that up. I believe it's because they haven't agreed a fee. Apparently, personal terms have been agreed.
Chelsea wants 70 million.
Yeah, and Man U hang on a minute.
But
would you not? What I don't understand is, would you not agree a fee first? Am I being stupid here? Because you can talk to the player, you can win him over, you can offer him a contract. If you don't agree a fee, what's the point? You're wasting your time.
Because then the player's head's turned, and then he goes into the office saying, "I really want to go."
And then, that's happened to Brighton loads of times, and we've said they haven't paid the money. So,
yeah, I get it, but no, it's always because you've got to work out whether the player actually wants to go as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, Ben White wanted to go in January. Leeds came in with 35. We said no. They came in with 40. We said no. We want 50. They didn't do it. He stayed longer until we got the 50 that we wanted. So I think obviously some teams are different, but I don't know. I just think the logical step is look at Football Manager. You make the bid, they accept it, you offer terms.
Yeah, kind of.
I just don't understand the offer terms first, because he's a Chelsea player. So, I know he's running down his contract, but he's a Chelsea player still.
I know.
So going in and agreeing terms with the Chelsea player is a bit naughty when they haven't really accepted an offer.
I don't
would
think
that put Chelsea off as well? Exactly. You're not supposed to, and apparently he's agreed terms. So I just don't get it. It seems a bit backward. Would that piss Chelsea off as well? Hang on a minute. You've gone behind our backs. He's a Chelsea player. You've agreed terms with him. You're not offering what we want. Does that motivate them to sell him? Probably not. Might say screw you. So it's just an interesting one. But yeah, transfer. Well, look, we're going to talk so much about transfers going forward when it opens, because I feel like, and my gut feeling is, we're going to have a very, very busy summer transfer window. There's so many clubs. Look at Newcastle. It's a massive window for us. It's a massive window for Arsenal. It's a big window for you boys. You're going to get another midfielder probably. Big window for Spurs. They need to improve. Villa have got money. Big window for loads of clubs.
Has Mbappe not signed for Liverpool yet? No.
Don't think so, pal. I don't think so. I'm not sure you can cope with £600 a week wages, but
can we just we'll start talking about transfers when he comes. I'm most certainly not talking about transfer rumours on here, because rumours are rubbish.
Yeah. Agree. Okay, I think we're good for football. I want to quickly touch upon the tennis, because there's been a major that finished today. Come on, mate. You're fine with tennis. Wasn't your dad a tennis coach?
Yeah. And I've been to Wimbledon more times than I've got fingers.
What's the matter then?
Because tennis
is it the changing of the guard? Is it the changing of the guard that's made you go off it?
Tennis is dead.
Dead's harsh. It's wounded.
And Novak's record is being inflated by the lack of competition. And it's
he beat all of them, mate. He's beaten all of them.
Yeah, he beat them all when they were on Zimmer frames.
That's not fair.
Andy Murray's got a fake hip.
You never beat Murray with a fake hip, though. You beat your Prime Murray. And Prime Murray was mustard. If you don't think Prime Murray was mustard, then you're wrong, because he was sick.
No. Yeah, he was. But So the top four, the top, like,
the 3/4.
those four.
It would have been the top four if Murray stayed fit.
Yeah. They were past it. When Novak came along, they were.
Some of his first wins, mate, was you go through it. Some of his first wins were prime. He's not beating crap in the final in his first 10 majors, is he?
I think it's just in the last, his last 10 majors have happened, and there's who's been there to put up a fight against him.
I don't particularly like him. We won't go into the politics. I don't like him. The issue I have is there's a lot of evidence that would tell you that he is the greatest player of all time. And the reason a lot of people don't like to hear it is, one, because they don't like him, and two, because there's this huge love for Federer, which I completely understand. I watched when he retired, and it was one of the most beautiful sporting moments I've ever seen. It was just it was brilliant. Loved it. His goodbye was sensational. He was sat there holding hands with Nadal, crying. Everyone loves Roger. He's an unbelievable talent. He's stylish. He's a role model. But when you look at the numbers, you've
just missed something out about Federer. He's the GOAT.
Look, we could do a pod on the GOAT debate, but look, he's at least in the frame now. Djokovic, he's got the most majors of anyone of all time. I would say I think he's an all rounder, and that's backed up by he's won every major at least 3 times. I don't think anyone else has done that. Federer's got 1 French Open. Nadal's only got 2, I think, of a couple. So
the only thing that I want to talk about with tennis is BBC iPlayer. It's called.
You put me on to this. It's very good.
Gods of Tennis.
I've only watched the Borg McEnroe one so far, but it's very, very good.
Thing.
Yeah, I just went straight
started with.
Yeah, Borg McEnroe's class. Who was episode 1?
It was Billie Jean King and no. You've got to watch the story.
She's amazing. She's a brilliant influence. But I just wanted to watch Borg McEnroe. You spoke a lot about Borg McEnroe, so I thought I'd get straight there.
Oh, Borg, be on Borg. 26, retired. See you later.
In terms of again, looking just at numbers, his wins to starts ratio is the best ever,
and it won't ever be beaten.
His win percentage is the best ever. So who knows if he'd have carried on? Who knows? But in terms of when you crunch the data, he's bang there. But you can't go to someone that retired at 22. You just can't. Right. You just can't. Because he's won. How many majors? 8. Djokovic has got 23.
6. Yeah, 6 Wimbledon.
You can make
6 Wimbledon by the age of 26.
You can't. He's got half the majors of Djokovic. You just can't. He just didn't play long enough. But if he'd have played long enough, he'd have been the question.
So Jimmy Traore is a better player than Harry Kane.
Oh, Jesus Christ Almighty! What a stupid comparison. Honest to God. Anyway, he won the
El Hadj Diouf is better than Harry Kane.
We're going to get cancelled, mate, if you keep.
I'm the fact man. I'm the fact man.
Moving swiftly with a capital S. Swiftly on. Djokovic won the French Open. He's now the most winner of all time. What I really want to mention is Alcaraz played him in the semi-final. That should have been the final, really. They were the 2 standouts. Alcaraz is a huge talent. He's going to win multiple majors. He's 20, I think, which is crazy. So he was he unlucky? Probably a little bit.
And he's a good-looking guy.
He's not struggling.
Wow.
So basically, it was 1-1 in that match. I watched a lot of it, and it was very close. And it felt like Alcaraz was getting on top because he just won the second. He was 1-0 up in the third. He kind of felt like he had all the momentum, and then he started cramping badly. And when I mean badly, he could barely move. So at that point, the match was pretty much over. He could have retired. I understand from a source that, and we can probably just Google it, that you don't get paid unless you complete. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I didn't retire. You don't get your appearance fee for your semi-final if you retire. Okay. I need to Google it, But apparently that's one of the reasons why he carried on.
I mean, also you don't want to quit, do you? Like I would never. I'd never quit.
The next 10 games or 11 games in a row after that, he just couldn't move. It was a bit sad, and that ultimate is real. Look, the finals today, Casper Ruud's very good. He's not on the same level as Djokovic. If Alcaraz is on it, he could probably beat Djokovic. So that was the final, really, the semi. But keep an eye on Alcaraz because he's very young and very good. That takes me nicely on to the ladies one. Iga Swiatek won the ladies. She is young. She's 22. She's very good. She's got 4 majors already. And I don't want to start using the word GOAT. She's 22. But she's got huge potential to start being a dominant figure. She's 22. She's got 4 majors. She wins a major a year for 10 years. That's what, 14? She's going to start creeping up now, I think.
Yeah, and she's still a million miles behind Serena Williams.
No. It's 20. Yeah, what is it? 23. No. I'm not saying GOAT at 22. What I'm saying is there's not been someone like.
I'm pretty much sure that pretty much sure that those words just came out of your mouth.
Okay, put it this way. She reminds me of a Haaland.
Sharapova.
Yeah, but a lot of stuff went on with her, didn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of stuff could go on with this girl.
No, of course it could. Yeah, a lot of stuff could go on with Haaland. Haaland could break his leg and never recover.
Pregnant tomorrow.
Haaland could stand in front of a bus, but he's still potential to be.
Put it this way, I think he'd win.
The bus would lose. Yeah. No, all I'm saying is one to watch out for. Huge.
That should be a feature. That should be a feature. Haaland versus objects.
Yeah. Look, one of the most exciting young female tennis players since in the last 8 to 10 years.
Since all the other really, 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 really good female.
Yeah, but when was the last one that burst through?
That Japanese American one who's just had a baby.
Right. Feel like she had the potential of this girl.
Right, give me one. I need a name.
And where's she gone? Naomi. No, she's called Naomi.
Naomi. Osaka, yeah. Naomi. That's it. Right, Osaka. I watched her. So I guarantee she will have won more than this girl by her age.
They've both got 4 majors, and she's 25.
Yeah, no, but when did she win all of her 4? Her last one...
2021. So she had 4 when she was 23. Yeah, I can understand why you say that.
And she's just had a baby, and she's going to give up professional tennis.
Yeah, and that happens. Yep. That's when Serena was amazing. Having the baby, coming back and winning is just incredible.
Incredible.
And yes, Serena probably is a go. And I'm not saying that Iga Swiatek is Serena, but
Serena's not the go.
Serena's not the go.
Serena's not the go. Martina Navratilova is the go.
I think it's probably best. We're coming to the end of this pod. We'll have this discussion another time. A lot of people would say Serena's the go. A lot of people.
Do I need to get up Martina Navratilova's amount?
Yeah, but you don't think Djokovic is the go? If you're going based on numbers, then Djokovic is the go.
No, I'm not going based off numbers, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Martina's won 9 Wimbledons, mate.
How many majors has she got? Total?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Serena's got way more.
Fair enough.
Serena's got 23.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
Is that including doubles?
Doubles? Jesus. It's like saying his major wins including crazy golf. I mean, Jesus Christ. Honestly. Man.
Crazy golf.
It's crazy golf. Do my junior crazy golf count the same as majors?
Does the putting comp before the round count? Yeah.
I think we'll move swiftly on. Well, so the last
Thank
thing we
God
for
that.
No, mate, I like tennis. I get it though. The only reason I get it is because there's a shifting of the guard, and we've lived through a period. the greatest period of
for
legends.
7 years.
We have lived and grown up through the greatest period of legends of all time. Arguably, we've grown up, not even arguably, really, the three greatest tennis players of all time have all played against each other through the last 15 years. We've been spoiled. That's the problem. We've been absolutely spoiled. And now there's one and a half left. So that's the problem. But these new names will come through.
I was told that Tsimikas and all of those guys were coming. They were the toilet.
Yeah, they're not as good. Yeah, they're not as good.
The toilet.
Right. Anyway, mate, we need to quickly talk about boxing / MMA, which is your baby. And,
my
then we'll wrap it up.
baby. So Josh Taylor lost all of his belts last night. All of his belts that he should have lost 18 months ago. Should we go straight there, or should we go quickly? I'm nowhere near as good as this on you. I saw a fight, Taylor Catterall. Catterall got absolutely robbed. You did your research about it. One of the referees who got the scorecard terribly wrong got sacked, pretty much. Yeah, and nothing happened. So basically, they should have said, right, auto rerun, okay?
And then was Taylor, a date confirmed for the rematch.
Yeah, and then there was a lot
of
issues going on with Catterall. I think there was a lot of mental health issues, stuff like this.
Because the demand for that rematch is big. Like the Groves Froch thing springs to mind in that there was an injustice in the first fight, or a perceived injustice. And then because of that injustice, the storyline was massive. I tried to get tickets, couldn't get tickets. The website shut down in 2 minutes. And then they sold out Wembley. So I'm not saying they're going to sell out Wembley, but the demand for it is big because of the injustice in the first fight.
But then what happened was Taylor was like, actually, shit, I did lose, so I need to not agree it. So therefore, the only person who had a rematch clause was Taylor. But because he won,
robbed. He was
robbed. So therefore, there was no rematch clause that he had to do. It was just that he could just carry on as he wanted to. The honest guy should have said, like, actually, there was a bit of an issue here. I know there was, so therefore I'll honour it for you, mate.
Yeah.
But that's not boxing. That's not prize boxing. So he's gone over to the USA. He's lost all of his belts. And this is now an issue because they're going to go. I mean, look, for me, bin the belts. Just screw them. So each time you fight for a belt, you have to give the commission that belt company 5% of the purse. So WBC, that's why they're throwing all these stupid belts at fights. So a couple of weeks ago, there was probably the biggest fight of the year. There was no belt on the line. Belt on the line, and it was amazing. Tank Davis won, and there was no belt. It was brilliant. Everyone knew that was the biggest fight. So anyway, Teofimo Lopez won. I caught bits of it. I did. It was on early hours. I've been quite busy today.
I thought it was on 4 o'clock.
UFC.
Bit quiet at the moment.
No, there was a card in Montreal last night. Okay. Charles Oliveira won against Beryl Dariush, and he knocked him out. And it was so. I'm not going to say it was an upset, but Dariush had won kind of 8 in a row, which in the UFC is massive. You know, UFC, it's fine to lose. That's what people don't like. I think you don't really get is that like. In boxing, it's not good to lose. You can't lose.
Yeah.
You know, Mayweather made it to the point where it was like you don't lose. Whereas in UFC, it's about greatness. It's about trying to climb that ladder, and there's going to be some bumps in the road, but you've got to climb that ladder.
Conor Gregor's lost a lot of times.
Yeah, and he is arguably, you know, he's a champ. So, and he's now the champ of knocking out mascots.
So, I saw that. What was that? That's basically just the setup gone wrong, wasn't it? He just punched him a bit too hard, I think.
Yeah, and also the fella's thinking to himself, I could get quite a bit of cash out of this.
Yeah. But it was planned, though. I think the guys probably had to sign.
No. Yeah,
it was all staged, but he just hit him a bit too hard.
Yeah.
Basically, put him in hospital, but he's fine. But yeah.
What
I quickly want to ask you about is there must be some announcements soon about AJ and Fury fights, not necessarily against each other, but feels like this is dragged on so long.
The last person I'm talking about is Tyson Fury. He has peed me off more than anyone else in fight sports history. I used to love the guy. I now despise the guy. He just throws his weight around. He throws names out. He signs nothing. Who has he fought?
He wants 80% and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, tell me. He has fought who?
Klitschko in his back garden. Yeah.
Yes,
and Wilder. It depends how good you think Wilder is.
And Wilder.
It depends how good you think Wilder is, really. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
He's the best boxer in the world. He's the best boxer in the world. But I'm sorry, it's you in boxing. You get a walkover, then you need a big fight. You get a walkover, then you need a big fight. He's had walkover.
Yeah, the Chisora fight was a mess. Like,
Chisora fight was a joke.
He did that ESPN run when he fought Dillian Wallin and
Dillian White walkover. So like we needed a big fight, okay? And obviously the Saudi stuff which we spoke about has kind of not ruined it, but basically they're all just holding out for the 80 million sign-up fees. Yeah. So and I think I mentioned it to you a couple of years ago, and you were like, "No, if Wilder and if Fury and Joshua's going to happen, it's got to happen in this country." I'm like, no way. It only happens in one place.
It's money. Yeah.
It's money. So like, I just wish that he'd shut up or put up. And the person who he should be fighting is Usyk. That is the only fight.
By the sounds of things, they offered too much. Fury wanted too much, and the Usyk camp said, "Screw this."
It's happening in the winter. It's happening in the winter.
Yeah,
Full stop. End of story. It's happening in the winter.
But are they going to sneak a fight in before that? There was rumours of Usyk mandatory against someone. Who's
Dubois.
Yes, that's it. Is that happening? Is there a date or is it strong rumours?
But why do it?
That's one-sided, isn't it?
No. Why do it?
Yeah, it's pointless. Usyk wins easy.
No. But why do it? Why risk in the heavyweight game? One punch and you lose all them belts.
Yeah, like Joshua against Ruth. Yeah.
You have got the chance to win, to have the fight for 100 million in Saudi for the unanimous heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
So therefore, why risk it? So just shut up. Just shut up and sign the deal for December and let's start talking about it now.
But I heard it was to the rematch clauses as well, apparently. Fury needed a rematch clause and they weren't sure. They said it's not fair because we want a rematch clause as well. Yeah.
Rematch clauses. I hate them. Hate them.
Catterall. Concentrate on this fight. Don't concentrate about the next one.
Catterall and Taylor has said, you know, that is there's a great understanding of rematch clauses. It's a rematch clause on one side, and
that's apparently what Fury wanted. A rematch clause on one side. It's like, hang on a minute. I think the Usyk camp got a bit fed up. So, okay, good. So yeah, pretty quiet time really in general, but I think there's some things to look forward to. McGregor's going to be fighting soonish, isn't he? He's got his little thing going on with Chandler.
December.
December. Okay, good. So that's something to look forward to. I think some bigger boxing fights are going to come up. There's rumours that Joshua wants to fight 3 times in the next year. So.
One quick thing. So Amanda Nunes retired last night from the UFC. She's pretty much been the GOAT from a women's point of view. A bit of a moment there for her. Everyone was wondering why the card was looking pretty weak. I think basically what they didn't want to say was that she's going to retire. She did. Yeah. So that made it quite an iconic night, really. So yeah.
Okay, all right, mate. That wraps it up.
Mm-hmm.
Been good. We've had a lot to catch up on, and that's exactly what we've done. So, the usual, please. We have a Twitter page now at at Elite Sports Deb. And the reason it's Deb is because we didn't have enough characters for Elite Sports Debate. So Twitter is at Elite Sports Deb. Instagram
Elon, sort it. Elon,
sort that out, Elon. We only want 2 more characters, mate. So we
Lizard, sort it.
Elite Sports Dev on Twitter, Elite_Sports Debate on Instagram, and at Elite Sports Debate on YouTube. Please do the usuals. That would really help us. And that's about it. Next time we will be doing our awards. So our Manager of the Year, Team of the Year, etc., etc., etc. And then I'm assuming the one after that we'll probably do another one like we did tonight, where we'll have loads to talk about again. Obviously, we're coming into more transfer window season. I'm sure that will take up a lot of time as well. So, a lot to look forward to. But in the meantime, thanks again, as always, for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.